robust urban garlic flavor.
All right, Phil is unveiling a new way you can give him money, even though you could always have left him a tip in the past. But this time, it includes YouTube stuff, because this is Philip Paul Burnell realizing that, hey, maybe not all of his supporters are there all the time, and maybe they want to save a game. But here's the thing, if there was a whale that wanted a game to be saved, he would always listen. So let's see what Phil has to say to the plebeians about this.
As we were starting up today's stream, I explained to everyone, hey, listen, here's what happened last night with Silksong. You know, we didn't hit the goal, and we were under by a lot, by about $54. And if we had hit that goal, we would have guaranteed that we were playing Silksong on Wednesday. Well, we didn't. So if we make $54 for Silksong today on this stream, people say, hey, I wasn't able to make the stream last night, but man, I want to see Silksong. Here's a contribution for it. We'll do it.
And here's the thing, if he keeps doing this where he allows the viewers to bundle prior support for a game with the current game that he's streaming, he will always be forced to pick these games back up at least one more time. Because people say, well, I'm spending money on him anyway, so why not just say it's also for this as well?
And immediately as I was explaining that, we hit it. Someone came in and said, I want to see Silksong. Here's a tip. Boom, we hit it, okay? So, immediately, we locked in, and Silksong is happening, okay? Now, also, over the course of said stream, a few other people while we were playing Cronus were saying things such as, man, you know, I actually wanted Silksong as well, and I wasn't able to make the stream last night. So, what do we do, for example, if we like a game, but we just can't make a night stream of it? Is there a way that we could possibly, you know, support it or contribute it if we can't be on that particular stream? And I said, well, yeah, there actually are several ways that you can do that. It's just that we don't usually talk about it. You know, number one, you could do a super thanks on a video.
Yeah, and funnily enough, this has a whole backstory to this. So when Super Thanks first launched, Phil was desperately trying to get YouTube to include him in like the beta version of it or something, or just wanted it as soon as possible because you know he's Phil. He thought he was going to make a ton of money off of Super Thanks. The reality is he uploaded one video which explains Super Thanks. For some reason, Dents gave him money for it, and then the Super Thanks dried up because you'd rather just wait for him to be live and give him super chats instead, because then he'd actually interact with them and say, oh, well, here's your question, here's my response. So yeah, Phil does not make content that is favorable to Super Thanks. What he's trying to do is say, hey, if you watch my gameplay throughs on demand, it's time for you to pay up, even though you could already do that by becoming a channel member of his.
So let's say, for example, tonight you weren't able to make Gears of War Reloaded for whatever reason, but you really liked the playthrough, and you wish that we had gotten more support tonight. You could send a super thanks on the videos that I upload tonight. This is just a super chat that you do on an on-demand video rather than on a stream. It shows up. I'll actually engage with it and say thank you and like it and everything. And I will count it as if you were on the live stream and you contributed.
But the thing is, it's not the same, and he thinks that 500 views on a video is similar to 200 concurrent views on a live stream. It's just not. And super thanks, YouTube does a pretty terrible job of just highlighting it. If somebody super thanks, it should just be immediately right at the top of the comments, and then it should be highlighted aggressively. Like, the opacity is like 10%. You can barely see a super thanks. And then YouTube, for whatever bizarre reason, doesn't even notify you creators that you get super thanks. You basically have to scroll through the comments to see if that happens. But I think they realize that it's just very few and far between anyway, so.
Another way would be to just send a tip to my PayPal. You know, my PayPal link stays the same no matter what, and you can send a tip to my PayPal whenever. If you look at the description of any of my current videos or streams, there's a link that says, here's my PayPal. You could send a tip and just say in the tip, hey, this tip specifically is for such and such a game because I missed out on the stream, but I want to support it and I want to see if this helps with the goal or whatever. I'll count it. Even though the stream's over, I'll still count it.
This is the much preferred method from Phil because it gets close to 100% of the dollars you give him, while on YouTube he gets 70%.
So, perfect example, all right? If that $54 had not come in this morning but had come in overnight on a super thanks or a tip, I would have counted it and still hit the goal or whatever for Silksong. So, because that happened before we even started with Cronus, boom, we hit a goal. So we were up to 46 goals, okay?
And I'm very skeptical that $54 tip was real. I just think he thought there was pressure on him to keep playing Silksong and that he just wanted to jumpstart support for the goal, but he only got $10 besides that in the first 2 hours of his playthrough.
Then during the course of Cronus, we got a bunch of support. Seriously.
Initially, he got so much support that he had to grind his stream to a complete halt and hold a 15-minute begging seminar where he explained in his middle manager style commentary that he needed money from you if you viewed his content, otherwise you were a freeloader practically. And then Only Iced Coffee and some other people started giving him money. Yeah, robust support right there. That was organic support from your fans wanting to give from their kindness of their hearts and because they genuinely enjoy your content, Phil. I'm sure you somehow think it's that somehow.
Tons of support. People were coming and saying, hey, we're so sorry that recently things have been up and down. Here's a whole bunch of support. By the end of the Cronus stream, I want to say, in addition to the support we had gotten from Silksong, we got like another $230 something. So we hit another goal. We got to 47 goals out of 50. And then I made an announcement. I said, from now on, this is kind of silly that we're going to keep accumulating goals when there's no big milestone rewards. If you remember previous, we were doing marathons based on if we were hitting 50 or 100 goals. But I did away with that. I said, instead, let's just do the marathons. That way we can schedule them, we can promote them, we can get excited about them. We don't have to hit these milestones to do it. Let's just do it. So really, there's nothing at 50, there's nothing at 100. So why am I counting to that? So I decided, moving forward, we will not have those high counts. Instead, we'll start at 0. We'll count up to 10. When we hit 10 goals hit, we'll do a DSP tries it or another reward, and then it resets back to 0. Okay?
Yeah, the thing is, DSP does a monthly marathon anyway, so he either thinks 2 marathons in a month is too much strain on his audience's wallets, or he just probably doesn't like doing them that much.
How did things go with Kronos today?
Once again, he had a complete meltdown because he only got $10 of support in the first 2 hours. If you actually want to see that, I'll leave the video link in the description below.
Really good stuff. Were there tough parts? Absolutely. I died a bunch. But at the same time, we persevered. Even though this game is pretty darn tough, the standard difficulty I would consider hard on any other game, we're making progress. We're getting through it, okay?
Yeah, you're right, Phil. I persevered too. I watched more than 15 minutes of your garbage. But you know, most of it wasn't gameplay because I don't sit through that. I don't persevere through that nonsense. I got like 10 live streams that I have on my computer that I'm like, am I ever going to get to those? Probably not.
So I had a great time today with Kronos. And by the end of the stream, like I said, very good. We had like $232 of support.
He also got a massive $100 tip after he went on his rant, so I'm really skeptical about that one as well. In total, there's about $154 that I'm thinking probably wasn't legitimate in that stream. But the thing is, up to this point, DSP had such a lousy week where he only hit 1 goal. I think he was like, yeah, we got to prime the pot a little now.
Great stuff, great progress, had a great time. So, support was absolutely overwhelming. And as a result of that support, tomorrow we absolutely will be doing our first major stream of Silksong, and I'll talk about that in a moment. It was tough. I died a lot. There were certain segments where like the AI was so dumb and your partner would just wander off and get murdered instantly, and now you have to do it all by yourself. How else did it go? Well, actually, attendance was good. Engagement was good. Support was pretty good. Sadly, we didn't hit a goal, but just listen. We hit $125. We were 25 short. And the thing is, maybe I would have stuck around a little later to see if people were interested in hitting that goal. But I had to take...
Yeah, Phil needed to do Cat's job and shatter the porcelain. It's like, hey, maybe you take 10 minutes and then come back. I don't know.
I'm not kidding. Like, it hit me so bad at the end of the stream. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I was like, guys, I gotta go. And I just played the outro music and I ran for the bathroom. Okay? So there was no opportunity to really say to anyone, hey, let's rally. I couldn't do it. I had to get out of here. All right? So...
Yeah, so he couldn't spend 20 minutes waiting for that last $25. Let's actually look at the end of his live stream and see what happened there, because I recorded it.
Better be a checkpoint. That was insane. What a stupid sequence. Against all odds, dude. That was so hard. Oh my god, thank God. It's a checkpoint. Alright, I think this is where we're going to call it for tonight. And next time we're going to finish it, because we're about halfway through Act 4 at this point. So let's take a quick look because we have a couple shout outs to do. I got a $5 tip. Will the Silk Song playthrough continue tomorrow? Yes, it's the day stream tomorrow is Silk Song continuing. We're going to give it a daytime slot and see how it does, and hopefully it does well. I really want to keep it in the rotation, so we need people to show up and support that playthrough, okay? So thank you for an anonymous $5 tip. And then there was that $5 super chat from Dust Bucket. So guys, we got up to 125 tonight. Literally 25 away from hitting a goal and only being 2 away from DSP tries it. We would have been in position tomorrow to do it during the Silk Song stream.
Aw, man. He lost this opportunity to beg for $300, even though he got $300 the day after regardless.
But once again, this is another stream where we are this close and we're not going to hit the goal. Well, I'm having a good time with this, despite the fact that I am going crazy at how hard it is. I mean, I did choose to play this on hardcore. So hopefully this has been an entertaining playthrough for you all. And it will continue and conclude on Thursday night. Yes, it's Tuesday night tonight, right? Yes, Thursday night, there will be a late stream of Gears of War Reloaded when we will wrap this up. So everyone, I hope that you guys have been enjoying Gears of War. The conclusion of the campaign is coming. I will see you next time to see how it all ends. Thanks a lot. See you then. That's it for tonight. I do hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. By the way, Tag, thanks for your 11 months as a member. Thank you all for your support tonight. It sucks. Again, we didn't hit another goal. We're so close. And we're not going to do it. It is what it is, I guess. Last chance if someone wants to contribute and hit that goal. So we can do DSP tries it probably tomorrow. Because I bet we will have a rallying for Silk Song tomorrow. I almost guarantee it. But we have to hit the goal now. There's no way we're hitting 3 goals on Silk Song tomorrow. That's not happening. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think we're going to hit a goal for that. Being honest, I don't think so. That's why I was hoping we would hit a goal tonight. Maybe 2 goals for Silk Song. And then we can do DSP tries it tomorrow. So, guys, I got to get out of here. All right. So everyone have a good night. I will see you tomorrow for the first ever daytime Silk Song stream. Fingers crossed that it goes well and that we get good engagement and support so we can actually keep it in the rotation, okay? No podcast, lots of Silk Song tomorrow morning. Everyone have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out. Here's the deal. We were only 25 bucks away from hitting a goal. So I'm going to lay it out like this, just like we did with Silk Song yesterday. If someone out there likes Gears of War, and you couldn't make it to tonight's stream, for whatever reason, you just couldn't make it. If you do a super thanks overnight on the Gears of War videos, or if you tip me overnight in my tips at PayPal, and we hit 25 bucks of support, I'll count it towards last night's, or I should say tonight's stream, and I'll say that we hit goal 48. Because we were that close. It wasn't like we were a million miles away. We were right there. And quite frankly, we might have hit it if I didn't have to take a dump. All right, so...
Yeah, Phil would have really hit that goal, and he would have done it too if it weren't for that meddling colon of his there.
If you want to do that, if you like Gears and you want to support the Gears playthrough, and you just couldn't make it, and if you want to get DSP tries it as soon as possible, you want to do that overnight, either a super thanks on the video or a tip, I'll accept it and we'll do it, okay? And by the way, I'm willing to do that. I don't think we talk about that enough. A lot of people get upset when I move a stream from a day stream to a night stream. Oh, I can't make night streams. That doesn't mean you can't support it. You could still leave a super thanks. You could still leave a tip. I don't know why a lot of people don't take the advantage of that. They just complain, oh, I can't make the night stream, so now I can't support the game. That's not true.
It's because a super chat by its very nature is more interactive because you have so few people in your chat that you will automatically see them, at least not when you're playing gameplay, and you will answer them. There's actually video footage of you responding instead of your comment saying, thanks for the money. That's why people prefer to do super chat over super thanks, Phil. And also, if they have $5 to $10 to give you, if they really want to save that game, there's no point in giving a super thanks after the fact when they're like 50 plus away from the goal, because then it relies on more people. If they think, hey, if I drop a super thanks on stream, maybe you'll get some momentum going or something. You're not going to get like 5 super thanks daily from your videos like you were thinking it was going to happen when it first launched, Phil. People aren't just like that
at all, okay? So I'm making this known, and here's why I'm really bringing it up. We're only 3 goals away. If we had hit the goal tonight, we would have only been 2 goals away. Well, tomorrow is Silk Song. Obviously, people hopefully will show up and engage in support with Silk Song, considering they all wanted it, they rallied for it, and we even got extra support this morning to keep it in the rotation, right? So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow we could hit 2 goals and we could have done DSP tries it on tomorrow's stream. But now it's 3. So now it's probably not going to happen. You know, it's a maybe. Maybe it could, maybe it won't. Let's see what happens. Let's see if overnight someone supports Gears of War. Maybe we'll hit another goal. Let's see how many people show up for Silksong, okay?
So what happened is that he hit a goal twice for Silksong, so that was 2, and then he got an extra 1. So I guess somebody gave like a $25 tip overnight or something, or they said, hey, just bankroll this with Silksong and Gears of War. Double count, which Phil is loath to do, but he's probably going to be interested in doing that.
So speaking of which, tomorrow, major Silksong stream. First time I'm giving it a huge chunk of gameplay, and it is a main daytime stream. I've decided once again to not do a podcast. I think I should give the game the attention so we can get maximum progress, and you guys can help me to understand the mechanics and things of it, because I'm trying to learn on the fly. And I think the best way to do that is to do an extended gameplay stream of around 3.5 to 4 hours. So in the morning, we'll have a half-hour hangout session, and then around noon Pacific time, Hollow Knight Silksong will begin, and I'll play for around 3.5 to 4 hours.
And then the whales showed up with the soccer accounts, and Phil was very happy.
Let's see how it goes. I'll tell you this. If this is another case where people don't show up and don't engage and don't support, this is going to be it. I'm not, at this point, I'm giving it so many chances, all right? I can only give it so many, and it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to keep doing it and saying, oh, well, maybe if we get support later. We have to hit a goal tomorrow with Silksong. Let's do it.
And the whales didn't get the joke that it would have been really funny if Phil once again failed to hit the goal. Like, can you imagine?
And then I'll lock it in and say, okay, now I'm convinced this is good for a playthrough. People will show up for a Metroidvania again, and we'll keep going with it. As daytime streams, by the way. Okay?
Yep, and now he's even talking about trying to bring Truck Sim back because he realized how stupid it was to wage quit it. Yeah, the thing with Metroidvania style games, you actually have to have commentary over them or play them well, and Phil does neither of those, but you could say that with any other genre of game, so everything's a tough lift for Phil.
So, overnight, there's a lot going on. Will people support Gears of War so we can get an extra goal and get to 48? I keep saying 48, it would be 8 out of 10. Will people support Silksong tomorrow? If they do, maybe we can hit goals. Maybe we can do DSP tries it tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow, all right? You know, stream/video where we just hang out for a little bit and enjoy each other's company. Do I think we're going to have tons of support for that stream tomorrow night? Probably not.
Yeah, the funny thing is he had a huge beg and chill session a couple weeks ago where he got tons of support, but every time he's done Q&A after the fact, it's been attached to streams after he completed a video game or he quit a video game. So those have been lightly supported because they're like, wait, you promised video games, Phil, and you're not playing. What's going on?
It would be great if we did, but already the interest and support in Metal Gear has tapered off huge. You know, the game's now been out for almost 2 weeks, and I didn't think... Notably, I wasn't convinced originally that there was going to be an interest in it regardless, but, you know, you guys convinced me to play it, so I did. But it would be a nice way to wrap it up tomorrow night if you can make it and support it and hang out with me and hear my final thoughts and do some chill with Phil. That would be nice.
The thing is, I don't get with, like, these short games that are just remasters, like, it takes 10 hours. So why don't you just dedicate some streams where you do it, like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, back to back to back, instead of just hanging out for, like, 5 different streams over a course of 3 weeks?
Gears videos uploading tonight. Support them if you can. Let's see if we can get an extra goal to get in position for DSP tries it possibly tomorrow. Tomorrow, please show up for an extended gameplay stream of Silksong to see how it does. Please show up, engage, and support Silksong. And tomorrow night, check out the conclusion of Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Yeah, and Phil needs to remind us constantly about this stuff because he's just in need of every single viewer he can get because attendance is going down. This is the way Phil operates. Now he has established payment plans of all things. Hey, we can save this game, but you have to tip within the next 24 hours. So it's open to everybody, isn't the whales. So if you're foolish enough to drop a $10, $20 super thanks when nobody else is doing so, congratulations. What this really is just another whale call because nobody can afford to drop $70 to save a game for a single stream, besides a whale. Nobody has that much interest in the games DSP is playing because DSP is always going to play another game. So it's like, okay, game A, game B, what's the difference? But Phil's like, hey, you know, maybe I'm getting pushback for holding games hostage, but I can use this to my advantage and use it to squeeze as much money as possible out of my fans. The thing is, DSP essentially wants something like a subscription service for his gameplay, but he he can't do that. The best he can do is Patreon or his $25 a month membership tier on YouTube. He also has Kick subs, but that's just an extra $5. Maybe there's ultra levels there. I don't know. There could be different tiers. I'm not looking into it that deep, but he wants a solid foundation of support that basically gets him 80% of the way to the goal daily. But the thing is, to do that, you need to have a robust audience, and Phil has a dwindling audience that is falling apart, and most of that attrition is being masked by LARPers in his chat. So we really don't have a huge conception about what Phil's going on, except his chat moves like molasses. So there is cause for concern that he doesn't have the solid foundation that he wants, and that's why he begs so aggressively, because if he got 150 in the bank before he even streamed, do you think he would be begging as hard as he would? Well, he'd be pretending that he would get to 150, but once after that, it wouldn't be as aggressive. Hey, we need to absolutely do this. Or, you know, maybe not. Maybe Phil would just beg more because that's what he loves to do. That is all I got for you today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you haven't seen yesterday's video about his meltdown on the Chrono stream after only getting $10 in 2 hours of gameplay, I highly recommend it. I'm going to include a link in the description, in the comment section, and there's going to be a pop-up video that you'll see just about now, because I really think it just shows you how entitled DSP thinks he is and why he demands money all the time. So once again, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.